PR Connections Radio presents.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. This is your host, Jesse Oakley III. Now, the purpose of the Sunday Morning Chat Series is I interview a plethora of positive people that are making big differences in their communities. It's whether it's speakers, authors, writers, singers, entertainers, athletes, you name it. If they're making a big difference in the community, you'll hear from them first on the Sunday Morning Chat Series. And today, we have ourselves a wonderful episode, and I'm looking forward to this. Now, many of you know that I belong into leadership, whether it is an organization or a job. And one of the things that helped me out was Stoicism and Stoic leadership. It's not about what happens to you. It's how you respond to it and how you react to it and how you can actually put it to your benefits. Now, I've been in different roles and different opportunities where I got a chance to put this in a task, and it's been a benefit for me. But it's also been a benefit for my guests. And when I look at Stoic leadership, when I look at inspiration, I feel real honored to get a chance to work with this lovely lady right here. So without any further delay, please help me welcome Kimberly Dueck. Hey, Kimberly, how's it going?
Hey, Jesse. Thanks so much for having me. I'm super stoked to be here.
All right. And without any further delay, let's chat.
All right.
Now, we're talking about Stoic leadership and the importance about that. And you have been quite the wonderful, inspirational leadership, as well as you take things calm and basically you're calm, cool, and you also like to have a good time. And I've seen the positivity within you, and I really appreciate that. Now, when we talk about Stoicism, what is your own personal definition of the word Stoicism?
It's funny you asked me that a few weeks ago if you want to talk about this topic. And I never really thought about it as something that I did. I guess I wasn't consciously aware of it. My husband has a different definition of it than I do. He thinks it's not really having a lot of emotion, where that's not me. I have emotion, whether it's very positive or sometimes really not feeling great in that moment. And for me, once I looked it up, I said, yeah, Jesse, you are explaining this very well, how I've been working through on my journey. And so for me, it's really about using your challenges, overcoming them, and learning from them, really, and looking for the good in it always. So that's what it means to me anyway.
All right. Fantastic. Now, the next question I do have for you is regarding, you just hit the part of your answer with what you just mentioned, but how did you actually learn from Stoicism? How did you learn from it in the beginning with what you know right now?
Well, of course, it's a life journey and it will continue to be so, but there really isn't anything like hearing you have cancer to knock you back in your tracks. It was October of 23, and I am told suddenly I must have surgery, emergency. In 2 hours, you have a big tumor that's about to explode and you could die. And it's shocking. You just, in that moment, you're like, suddenly nothing is important anymore. All those things that I'd filled up my calendar with, all of a sudden that just didn't matter. And all I could think about was my little girl, my husband, and how could this happen? And, you work through all those emotions. And of course, I made it through the surgery, and that was all good. There's been a few challenges since then, which we'll maybe get into today. But yeah, when you have a big life event, big health scare like that, it really makes you think about life, and you realize how unimportant a lot of the things, I call it the hamster wheel.
Mm-hmm.
We get so tied up, we schedule ourselves to the nth degree. Like my calendar had triple booked, and there was always stuff going on. And even my friends were like, well, we just wait for you to reach out to us because we just think you're too busy. And to me now, busy is a bad word. If I'm too busy for my friends and my connections and my family, then that tells me I'm not doing something right. So to me, that was really in the last just over a year, I've been very mindfully learning about Stoicism, and it's brought a whole new perspective on life for me, for sure.
Oh my goodness, that is truly fantastic to actually hear that. And again, you are the inspiration, and I really appreciate that big time. Now, how, we talked about this before, but how has it benefited you with learning the thought philosophy of Stoicism and Stoic leadership?
Yeah, I'm a practical gal. I'm not big on theory, but so I'll tell you in my day-to-day life, when I realized that my life was forever going to be changed, I look at my life and I see my beautiful daughter at the time. She was only, what, 9 months old, and my husband and all these things. And I was like, well, I have this beautiful life, but am I really enjoying it? I mean, of course, there's moments of joy, but that day to day, because I'm a very driven person. So you tell me the task and I'm going to go get that done. Like, don't even stand in my way. That was really how, I mean, I had a lot of success with it. So I was rewarded for that behavior as well. But it was like short lived. You get to that mountaintop and then you're like, okay, that's fun. Now what? So you get to enjoy all your hard work for all of 5 minutes. And I thought, there's a better way to live life. And it's in those little moments. And at the time, my daughter would be jumping in the jolly jumper, and I'd be looking up from my phone, and she had stopped jumping, even looking at me. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this? Why am I looking at my phone? My daughter wants to be in the moment with me. Kids are the best teachers of this, by the way. And as soon as I took the phone away, I just paid all attention to her, and the giggles continued. And we've just been having a ton of fun ever since. But like, always looking for something fun to do, one nugget of joy in every day at the very least. And that is what's building this beautiful life. And I'm starting to envision now, how do we go forward and how do we want to change life to learn from this very major lesson, I guess, that I've gone through in the last little bit. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I tell you, that is truly, that is just inspirational. And I tell you what, there's no better time than to spend time with family. And I can tell you right now that when it comes to different priorities, family definitely comes first.
Yeah.
It's right there, number one, and as well as work and other items that are they're in the same process. So if you do have family that's there, that is truly fantastic. And I've also learned this through the time where I spent with my mom, where I had my well, after my dad passed away in 2012. My mom was there, and she needed some help. She needed some assistance, and I was there to help her out with to go to get her shopping, and also have a chance to go to the doctor's office here and there. And it's been one of those moments where I had a chance to spend time with family. And for me, those 6 years between my father's death and my mom's death, those times are very crucial and very valuable. And by
Yeah.
the time when my mom passed away, when the doctors told me about that, I felt a head in my heart, but I also felt a conscience right there that says, you know what, I'm there with mom, and I was there for her, and that's what made the conscience much easier for me. So
Yeah.
when we talk about that with your daughter, I can definitely talk about that with my mom because there's no better time than definitely spend with family, and that's always a high priority.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. All right, then the next question for you is I noticed that you're quite the inspiration with your life and your family and sharing these great words of wisdom. We'll get to later. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But there's someone out there that is inspired by what you're doing and inspired by the journey that you have made. And if you were to, well, heck, I'm inspired. Let's just call it that. Now, let's say that you meet someone that is inspired by what you're doing and they want to have that life that you're living. They want to be in a shoes that Kimberly Dueck is in. If you could just offer any advice for that person who wants to be in your shoes, what advice would that be?
Well, it's the advice I would give myself probably. I had a tough news that there was still more cancer to deal with a year after my surgery, which was, again, very shocking for me and scary, honestly, as a new mom. And I said, wow, like, and I thought, well, so is it death that I'm afraid of, or is it the life that I haven't lived yet? And it was actually the latter. It's not even that fear of the unknown. It's that living piece. And I said, okay, well, what do you feel like you're not living? And I'm like, oh, I want to be Charlize's mom. My daughter's name is Charlize. And I said, what's stopping you? Just go do it. And so I just immediately dropped everything I did, and I went and played with her on the floor. Or I said, I want to be a better wife. Well, the second I had that thought, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go give my husband a kiss. And so it's just starting to get more in tune with my heart. And I'm a very analytical thinker. But when I have these moments where I think about like I'm thinking, first of all, like this isn't working, or something is uncomfortable in my setting. I take that moment to pause and say, okay, what is it that is bothering you right now? And I go with that first thing. It's usually your intuition, which I say speaks through your heart, whatever you believe it comes from. But that voice that comes up, don't ignore it. And the more you listen to it, the more it will have confidence to tell you, hey, listen up. This is what I'd like to do today. And it will rarely guide you wrong. I don't actually think it ever does, but I don't want to bet 100% on it. But that's what I would advise. I think it's if you have a desire to be more stoic, a desire to do more of anything, listen to that desire, listen to your heart, and just go do it. It these little things, enjoying those little moments and noticing the things that you love, and make more of that happen. If you hate something, just stop doing it. I mean, paying bills, you have to. If you can outsource that to your partner, even better. But I'm saying the more joy and happiness and listening to that voice telling you this is what I really would love to do today, and finding that joy every day, I guarantee you, you will just take those small little steps, and all of a sudden you look back. And for me, it's a year and a half later, and I say my life has completely changed. And so instead of hearing, wow, you have something life threatening in your body, I say, wow, what a life changing experience that was. And I hope that,
Woo,
yeah.
woo, woo, woo. Oh my goodness. Kim, you said a lot, and we're already halfway into the interview. My goodness. I tell you what, happy people, this is what it's all about. Positive people making big differences, and Kim Dueck, the inspiration is as good as advertised. I'll tell you what,
Aw,
this is just halfway through the interview, and my
yeah.
goodness, this is truly fantastic. This is very good stuff, happy people. Next question I have for you is, oh my goodness, this is about mindset and the energy that you do have with mindset, and with all the inspiration and with all the this time spent with family, with all the thinking of the heart and everything else. How do you find the energy to keep the positive mindset going for what you're going through?
It is a snowball effect. I will tell you that, because we don't realize how busy we make ourselves, and we just get so caught up and we think everything is important. And if you're like me, I find everything interesting. So it's even more difficult because I want to be doing so many different things. And I really desire not for everyone to need to go through a life-threatening situation to wake up. So I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, how do we get ourselves to a place where we don't need to have this big wake-up call, and take the time? And I say, if you ask about, do you have energy for this? Well, I have more energy because I'm doing it. And I don't think I would have ever believed. I work with an energy therapist, and she was saying, you will actually have more energy if you slow down. I said, say what now? I don't understand that. But I can tell you, when you take the time to do things like meditation, it's really what you prefer. So if you like a walk in nature, meditation, it's really whatever helps you kind of take that breath and take that time for you. And it doesn't even have to be a ton of time, it could be just 5 minutes, whatever. It's enough time to just slow your mind down for a little bit, and go with that first thing that comes, like I talked about, from your heart. And the more you get that slow down, listen to heart tell you what you really need to do in that day or in that moment, the more you listen to that, the more energy you get, and the more intentional you get with your actions as well. So you're not chasing around. I mean, I know we're both hockey fans. I always like to use this analogy. So I have some friends who are older than me, and I have some friends that are younger than me, and they play hockey together. And the older ones say, well, I still score as many goals. I don't skate as hard as I used to. I just know where the puck's going to be. So if you can actually apply that to life and maybe slow yourself down, even just a wee bit, 5 minutes or more a day, take that time for you, do what it is that just helps you relax and calm down a bit, those answers are going to come. So I will say you will get more energy the more you do this, but just start small, and it'll become a snowball, and you'll just get addicted to it.
Atomic Habits. That is very nice. And again, James Clear had a book called Atomic Habits, where it
Yeah.
talked about the small details leading to big steps and big things.
Yeah.
And what you just described was truly an atomic habit. I really appreciate that. Now, where now some people can actually look for books, and some people I could go for YouTube or anywhere else to find this type of mindset that we're talking about with Stoic mindset and how it can adapt to life. Do you have an idea where people can actually go to know more about what Stoic mindset and how it can apply to your life?
Well, but of course, I will say, come follow my journey on Facebook. I've been posting every day except Sundays. I actually give myself a day off on Sundays because I want to walk the talk as well. So I give myself time off the screen. So I think the phone is a distraction device. So start no further than just maybe rethink how you see your phone. Because for me, when I would start getting bored and have quiet, I would just immediately go to my phone. I'm like, hey, let's put that aside. So as far as resources, definitely, of course, check out my Facebook page. I do most of my posting there. I do a little bit on LinkedIn and Instagram as well, but um, there's so many resources. You talk about atomic habits. I love to read, but have I learned about Stoicism from any book or YouTube? Not really. I think it really is just about finding that what works for you, finding your zen, realizing or thinking about your day, even saying, hey, you know what did I love about my day and what did I not like about my day? And it's sometimes uncomfortable work because you might have just wasted your whole day spinning on your phone. Like I've had those days. You can actually go in settings and it says how many hours you've actually been on your phone. There was days where it was like 8 hours. And I'm saying, whoa, think about like all the important stuff I could have been doing instead of surfing Facebook. So of course I'm telling you to go to Facebook, but you can't go wrong with going internal. You can't live there either, of course, but I think we as a society are almost all on that hamster wheel. So finding ways to just even take moments off of that, that's your best resource. And of course, I'll say look up whatever topic on Stoicism that interests you, and you will find it on YouTube. I guarantee you. Brene Brown, of course, is one of my favorites. I could go on and on about all the authors I love, but yeah, those would be my tips for you on the where to go.
All right. Now, this section of the interview is shout out time. And you
Mm,
get actually say shout out and give thanks to all the people that are there that have made a big difference in this journey. If you
yeah.
can give a shout out to as many people as you can, who would you like to give a shout out to?
Wow. I mean, of course, my husband Al and our daughter Charlize, they've been my rocks throughout this entire journey. And of course, Al's family and my family, they've just been there for me and all the friends that I have in our community. But there are a lot of people that have responded a lot to my posts on Facebook. And that's really encouraged me and uplifted me on maybe on some of the days where I'd be like writing my post and it's very, very blunt about how I'm feeling that day. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I'm hitting post on this. This is scary. And the reactions are actually better the more raw I am. It's just shocking. So I want to say to everyone that has been supporting me along the way, whether or not you comment or like doesn't really matter. But I've definitely felt the love and the good vibes that have come through. Energy is a thing. I believe in it. I mean, we believe in cell phones that aren't connected by wires. So what's wrong with thinking about energy that way too? So I have to say huge thanks to everybody around the world that has supported me and said prayers, sent positive vibes my way. I guarantee you I've just been so blessed by all that positive energy coming my way. So I have nothing further I can say. Just a huge thank you for that.
All right. It's good. Thank you right there. Now, the last question I do have for you is addressed to my crew and my fans, and they're called the Happy People. And they're always inspired by the guests I have on this podcast about words of wisdom from many people. And if you could offer a solid words of wisdom for my group and my crew, the Happy People, what would it be?
The words that came to mind is you have it in you. If you want to have more peace and more joy and love the people that you are with, and you get to your deathbed someday, we are all going to. And this is just something I've experienced a little earlier. It's not what we accomplish, it is the love and the connection that we have with others. And so I would just ask all of you, you have it within you. go and love your important people. That is really, truly what matters in this life. And that is all that will matter when you get to the end there. So, not to end on a morbid note, but be happy, be joyful, have peace. It is possible, even in this busy, hectic world we live in.
Perfect bookend to this wonderful interview. And on behalf of all the happy people that are watching, I will take this time out to thank you, Kim, for being on the Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. Thank you very much, Kim.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, and this concludes this episode of the Sunday Morning Chat Series. And like many chat series before, you can also watch this chat series on YouTube at 9 o'clock and Pacific Standard Time on PR Connections. And for more positive words of wisdom from the happy people, you can also check out my new YouTube channel, Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III. Just go to YouTube, type in Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III, and you'll see a plethora of positive people that I've interviewed that are making big differences in their communities. And for more information, go to prconnectionsradio.com. And until next time, this is Jesse Oakley III from Sunday Morning Chat Series with Jesse Oakley III, signing off saying take care and have a great day. Take care, happy people. Bye.
PR Connections. PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.